Chapter 91 Super Beast Arms, Tiger Roaring Beast. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After an unknown amount of time, Feng Yao closed his eyes and suddenly exhaled a breath of thick air. The soul ring of the dark demon evil god tiger has also been integrated into his martial soul. Douluo in front raised his eyebrows when he saw this. Has it ended? Just as Douluo thought, Feng Yao slowly opened his blood-red eyes. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw Douluo's old face that was almost in contact with him. He was so frightened that he subconsciously fell back. What are you doing? Douluo didn't care about Feng Yao's thoughts at all, rubbed his chin, looked at Feng Yao as if he were a monster, and said, "What's going on with your kid? What's wrong?" Feng Yao raised his eyebrows and stood up slowly. The silver-white head armor disappeared, revealing his somewhat cold face. "Your soul ring seems to be gone," Douluo said with an incomprehensible expression. Feng Yao was surprised. With a thought, 6 soul rings and a silver-gray, soul ring-like halo appeared at his feet. At Feng Yao's feet, except for the silver-gray soul ring, the other soul rings were all transparent. If it weren't for its radiance, it would be almost invisible. Seeing this scene, Feng Yao was shocked. "What's happening here?" Douluo spread his hands and looked innocent. "Who knows?" At this moment, Feng Yao's left hand suddenly burst into light, and a giant sword suddenly appeared. Feng Yao looked intently. This sword felt very familiar. A long time. "This is Tianyuan sword." Douluo raised his eyebrows. "Tianyuan sword? Isn't this your #1 soul skill?" But when he saw the soul mark on Feng Yao's palm, his expression suddenly changed and he exclaimed, "Second martial soul." However, what surprised them even more, 6 rays of light, 1 yellow, 2 purple, 3 black, suddenly shot out from the sword, shooting towards the 6 transparent soul rings at Feng Yao's feet. In an instant, Feng Yao's soul rings returned to their original appearance. Feng Yao and Douluo looked at each other and saw thoughts in each other's eyes. The two of them remained silent. I thought silently in my heart. "Grandpa, do you know what is going on?" "Xiao Feng, what's going on with you?" As soon as the voice came out, Feng Yao was fine, but Douluo's face became a little worried. He is the most honorable person. Pretending to be calm, he coughed and changed the subject. "I didn't expect that your boy actually has twin martial arts souls. It's really amazing." Feng Yao looked at the small sword in his hand and was silent. He didn't know how to explain it, so he simply put the Tianyuan sword back without explanation. He also believed that Douluo would keep his secrets and not say unnecessary things. At this time, the 6 soul rings that had returned to their original state merged with the silver-gray halo. The silver-gray halo suddenly shone brightly. Feng Yao looked at the halo with the tiger head pattern on it, and a huge figure flashed in his mind. "Grandpa, please step back, I want to try a trick." There was a look of interest on Douluo's face. He thought Feng Yao wanted to use the 6th soul ring he had just obtained, so he stepped back 20 or 30 meters in a flash. Seeing this, Feng Yao closed his eyes and took a deep breath, and the silver-gray halo also disappeared. The forest suddenly became quiet. After counting the interest, Feng Yao suddenly opened his eyes. Blood flashing in his eyes, he slammed one hand to the ground and shouted, "Super Beast Arms! Tiger Roaring Beast!" Boom! A huge silver-gray circular pattern with a diameter of about 10 meters, shaped like a soul ring, and printed with tiger stripes suddenly burst out of the ground behind him and stood behind him. Looking at this scene, Douluo swallowed unconsciously. However, what surprised him was more than that. A war tiger that was even bigger than the dark demon evil god tiger suddenly appeared from it. I saw that this war tiger was composed of many colors. The body is silver-white, and the blood-colored tiger eyes exude a murderous intent. The left forelimb is icy blue and exudes cold energy, while the right forelimb is red and radiates hot aura. At the same time, there are ice blue and crimson dragon-shaped shadows. The hind limbs are covered with black armor, and the tail is very unique. It is very similar to the dark demon evil god tiger, especially the cold undercut at the end of the tail. Roar! As soon as the war tiger appeared, it let out a roar, and waves of air spread outward with unrivaled power. Douluo's expression changed, and he subconsciously used his soul power to stabilize his body, as 2 gas clouds, one black and one white, revolved around the white tiger. Feng Yao's figure floated quietly in front of Zhan Hu. The next moment, Feng Yao merged into its body under Douluo Bo's surprised gaze. Douluo Bo's surprise continued, as the sonorous sound emerged, Zhan Hu suddenly changed, standing upright and transforming into a human form, looking at the huge figure in front of him that was no longer moving. Douluo Bo's voice echoed in the forest. Xiao Feng, how are you now? I feel very good now, and my life seems to have been sublimated. Feng Yao's voice was filled with excitement. The gate of Lanba Advanced Soul Master Academy. At this time, a group of more than a dozen people came over. Walking in front were 6 middle-aged and elderly people of various ages, followed by a young man in his 30s, and finally 6 boys and girls who looked to be in their teens. If Feng Yao were here, he would definitely be able to recognize these people. This group of people was the people from Shrek Academy who were driven out by Prince Snowstar because they provoked the avalanche. Looking at the menacing Flanders and others, the student on duty frowned slightly. He walked to the middle of the door, waited for a group of people to approach, and asked, "Who are you? Do you have anything to do with our Lanba Advanced Soul Master Academy?" Seeing this, Flanders smiled and took out a recruitment notice. "We are here to apply for teachers." In an office on the top floor of the teaching building of Lanba College. At this time, the message was being given to a middle-aged man in front of him, telling him about the current situation in the academy. The middle-aged man was of average appearance, wearing a blue and white robe with a dragon pattern printed on it, and his hands were clasped behind his back. After listening to Yin Shu's constant talk, he couldn't help but frown slightly. "Well, since Erlong doesn't care, Yin Shu, you can work harder." Yin Shu smiled bitterly in his heart, raised his eyes and glanced at Yu Mian, the second head of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, and respectfully replied, "Yes." While the two were talking, there was a knock on the door. Yu Mian stood by the window, looking towards Liu Erlong's residence. Without looking back, Yin Shu frowned. After opening the door, he saw a teacher from the college standing at the door. "Didn't I say that I have to entertain distinguished guests, so don't disturb me unless it's something important?" Hearing this, the teacher came closer and whispered, "Director, a few people came outside and said they wanted to join our Lanba Academy. I tested it and found that there were 3 soul saints and 3 soul emperors among them." What? Chapter 92 Flender defected to Lanba Academy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yin Shu looked shocked. "Are you telling the truth?" The teacher nodded, with a serious look on his face. At this time, Yu Mian noticed the situation here and asked aloud, "What happened?" Yin Shu turned around and bowed and said, "Sir, I just learned that there are 3 soul saints and 3 soul emperors who want to join our Lanba Academy." When the teacher saw Yin Shu being so respectful to the person in front of him, he didn't dare to be disrespectful and immediately bowed deeply. Yu Mian looked dumb. "What a good thing. Let's go, let me go take a look together." "Yes." Yin Shu nodded and replied, then looked at the teacher and said, "Teacher Li, lead the way." It didn't take long. A group of 3 people came to the reception room of Lanba Academy. Opening the door, Yu Mian took the lead and walked in. Yin Shu and the 2 followed behind. The moment the 3 people appeared, everyone present turned their attention. Among them, an old man with white hair who was nearly 60 years old shrank his pupils when he saw the appearance of Yu Mian. Bad memories suddenly appeared in his mind, and he shrank subconsciously. Flanders, who was originally sitting on the sofa, sipping tea, was shocked when he saw the visitor, Erlong's father. "Why is he here?" Subconsciously, he looked at Yu Xiaogang beside him. Seeing Yu Xiaogang shrinking his head, looking like a quail, he sighed in his heart. When Yu Mian saw Flanders, he was slightly surprised. "Are you Flanders?" Seeing that the other party still recognized him after so many years, Flanders smiled bitterly, walked up to Yu Mian, bowed slightly. "Senior." Yu Mian nodded and raised his hand to gently support Flanders. He glanced around and saw that there were 13 people present, including Flanders. When he noticed Yu Xiaogang, he frowned, but didn't say much. "I heard that someone is going to join Lanba Academy. It should be you." "Senior, that's right." As Flanders spoke, he introduced everyone present to Yu Mian. When Yu Mian heard that Tang San and others were already at the 27th level at such a young age, even soul masters, they were slightly surprised. "I can't help but lament that Flanders has recruited a group of good students." but when he saw that Flender did not introduce Yu Xiaogang in the end, he set his sights on Yu Xiaogang. Seeing this, Flanders knew that he couldn't hide. He smiled bitterly and said, "Xiaogang." As soon as the word Xiaogang came out, Yu Xiaogang's body trembled. Holding back his fear, he came to Yu Luomian, and a sharp and trembling voice slowly sounded, "Second uncle, I am Yu Xiaogang." That when Yu Luomian heard the word Xiaogang, he already had a bad feeling in his heart, and after hearing Yu Xiaogang's voice, the premonition came true. "You are Yu Xiaogang? Why are you so old?" That Yu Xiaogang was a little embarrassed and speechless. Senior. Xiaogang's soul power was destroyed by the bad guys. Flanders looked helpless and explained for Yu Xiaogang. The soul power was destroyed. Yu Luomian frowned, but when he thought of something, he breathed a sigh of relief. It's okay to be abolished. It was a pity that the sect wasted so many resources on him. He knew Flender's strength. He once thought of persuading Liu Erlong to stay with Flender. This Lanba Academy is also supported by the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. It is a good thing that Flanders can join the Lanba Academy. As for Yu Xiaogang who joined in together, just think of it as a favor to your elder brother. I'm in a good mood today, so I won't humiliate him. Now that Erlong is pregnant, it is impossible to be with him. With a cold snort, Yu Luomian glanced at Yu Xiaogang disdainfully, turned to look at Flanders, and said softly, "With your strength, it is natural for you to join Lanba Academy." "I agree on behalf of the Academy." Flanders looked happy, and the depression in his body dissipated a lot. Seeing that Yu Luomian didn't humiliate Yu Xiaogang with words, he understood in his heart that the other party also agreed to Yu Xiaogang's joining. "Sir, this matter needs to be reported to the dean." Although Yu Luomian can intervene in the affairs of Lanba College to a certain extent, the dean of the college is still Liu Erlong. Yin Shu still respects Liu Erlong very much, although most of it is because of his strength. "Well, go ahead, just bring Flanders and the others with them." Yu Luomian nodded. After saying that, Yu Luomian walked out the door, obviously leaving. "Everyone, please follow me." Yin Shu led the way with a gentle smile, looked at Flanders beside him, and said, "My name is Yin Shu, the teaching director of Lanba Academy, and a level 55 fighting soul king. In the world of soul masters, the strong are respected. You are all powerful, just call me by my name." Flanders cupped his fists and said with a smile, "Teacher Yin Shu, you are too polite. We will all be colleagues from now on, so there is no need to be like this." At this time, the rear of the group of people, Dai Mubai, Tang San and others were whispering. "Xiao San, according to what the master just called me, that senior is the master's second uncle. But why didn't the other party show anger when he heard that the master's soul power was crippled? He looked like it had nothing to do with him." Dai Mubai said. He touched Tang San's shoulder and said with a puzzled expression. Tang San shook his head, "I'm not very sure either. I seem to have seen that man before, and I have some impressions. I heard my father say that that man seems to be the second head of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. He is also the younger brother of the current sect leader." Ning Rongrong's eyes flashed, and a brilliant light flashed from him. "Pass. Rong, you are so amazing, you know so much," Oscar said with admiration on his face. "What a big deal." Ning Rongrong waved her hand, looking unconcerned. When Tang San heard this, he lowered his head and thought silently. After a while, a wall about 5 meters high, extending outward for an unknown distance, appeared in their eyes. They also stopped at the right time. Flanders subconsciously asked, "Teacher Yin Shu, why is there a wall here?" Yin Shu smiled and pointed to the warning sign on the wall and said with a smile, "The front is the residence of our dean. Outsiders are not allowed to enter without authorization. Violators will bear the consequences." The words in the audiobook are also to remind everyone. At the same time, Yin Shuzong took out a signal bomb from his soul guide. Ignite and ignite. The flare flew into the air like an arrow from a string. The next second, the flare exploded in the air. Fireworks of various colors sparkled in the sky. The crackling sound gradually spread. "Everyone, let's just wait here for a while." Yin Shu turned to face everyone and said with a smile. Flanders suppressed his excitement and nodded. Yu Xiaogang could not bear the bitterness in his heart. Just now Yu Luomian ignored him, which was 10 times more humiliating than the insult brought to him. Although his strength is low, his surname is still Yu. Even though his soul power was destroyed, there was no trace of anger at all. Yu Xiaogang could even see the joy in the other person's eyes. Chapter 93 Two Heartbroken People. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yin Shu and others didn't have to wait long. A pleasant sound came from above the wall. Teacher Yin Shu, what are you here for? That I saw a beautiful woman standing on the wall. The woman was dressed in a blue tight-fitting outfit, showing a dash of heroism and grace. She has a perfect figure and slim body, slightly curly long hair reaching her waist, and a pair of long blue high heels. The woman is Du Guyan, who is accompanying Liu Erlong. As soon as Du Guyan appeared, the eyes of Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, and Oscar almost popped out of their heads. Du Guyan was extremely beautiful, and with the assistance of the fairy grass and the evolution of her martial soul, her appearance was affected to a certain extent. Dai Mubai subconsciously glanced at the girl in black not far away, Zhu Zhuqing. He silently compared the two in his mind. I found that Du Guyan was better looking than Zhu Zhuqing, but Zhu Zhuqing's figure was really a bit foul. Zhu Zhuqing also noticed Dai Mubai's lewd gaze. He glanced over with cold eyes, snorted coldly, and took 2 quick steps to use the others to block Dai Mubai's sight. Dai Mubai touched his nose and twitched the corners of his mouth. Oscar, on the other hand, has a high level of emotional intelligence and didn't blatantly watch it. I just thought about Ning Rongrong's figure in my heart, and then thought about Du Guyan's figure. As for Ma Hongjun, his anger has already leaked out. Zhao Wuji next to him couldn't stand it anymore. With a big hand, he threw Ma Hongjun to the back to avoid embarrassment. Seeing Du Guyan coming, Yinji smiled, stretched out his hands to Flender and others, and said warmly, Miss Dugu, these guys are here to apply for the position of teachers at our Lanba Academy, because they are all high-level souls. Teacher, so I want to inform the dean, that when Du Guyan heard the words, he understood the meaning of the music book. Xiaomu glanced at the people below. When she saw Dai Mubai and others behind her looking at her, her eyebrows furrowed slightly. There are already more than a dozen in mind, making people afraid to look at their own methods. However, thinking that the other party was together, he did not show any other emotions and smiled sweetly. Okay. But there are too many of you, we can't all come in. No problem, Teacher Yin Shu, just Xiaogang and I can go in. Flanders said quickly after hearing this. Seeing the other party's eager look, Du Guyan looked slightly surprised. A pair of wings appeared behind Flanders. He picked up Yu Xiaogang and flew over the wall. The audiobook also jumped up and turned over. In a moment, a group of 4 people arrived outside Liu Erlong's small courtyard. You guys wait here. After saying that, Du Guyan ignored the 3 people and walked straight into the courtyard. Flanders frowned slightly, suppressing his excitement. Yu Xiaogang looked at Du Guyan's leaving figure with a hint of displeasure in his eyes. Yin Shu noticed the displeasure in Yu Xiaogang's eyes and didn't pay much attention. In his opinion, if the old man offends Du Guyan, the final result will be nothing more than a pool of blood. Not long, Du Guyan appeared again. At the same time, there was a beautiful mature woman wearing a long black dress walking beside her. The woman looked to be about 30 years old, and her long skirt almost completely covered her delicate body. Her fair and tender pretty face had a charming rosiness, which made her appear to be in a good mood. 3,000 black hair hangs naturally behind her back, and her beautiful eyes are full of charm. As soon as Liu Erlong appeared, Yu Xiaogang and Flender were instantly fascinated. Although Yu Xiaogang no longer has that ability, he has not given up yet. Moreover, he also believed that Liu Erlong still loved him as he did more than 10 years ago. If Liu Erlong is there and lends her hand to seek help from the family, he might be able to recover. Although there was little hope, he still refused to give up, and Flanders was originally Liu Erlong's licking dog. The appearance of Liu Erlong now was several times more beautiful than the one in his memory, especially the natural temperament of a mature woman, made his heart pound. Hey, Sister Erlong, those are the 2. Du Guyan said softly from the front. Liu Erlong straightened his waist slightly, nodded, and looked in the direction Du Guyan was pointing. When she saw Flanders, she was extremely surprised. Boss Fu, are you? After hearing this, Flanders came back from his shock. Erlong my, that he shouted excitedly and walked quickly into the courtyard. Approaching Liu Erlong, seeing that something was wrong, Du Guyan stood in front of Flanders and said calmly, why are you so close when you have something to talk about? Flander's smile suddenly froze. I was a little overwhelmed for a while. Liu Erlong saw this and smiled helplessly. Yen, it's okay. This is my eldest brother, not an outsider. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing retreated slightly, but Flanders still wasn't allowed to get close to Liu Erlong. This is a man, and Liu Erlong is still pregnant. If something unexpected happened, I must have failed Xiao Feng's instructions. Seeing this, neither of them said anything more, just talking to each other with a distance of 1 or 2 meters, outside the courtyard. When Yu Xiaogang saw that the two of them were chatting in a lively manner and even ignored him, he felt dissatisfied and his anger quietly rose. He covered his mouth and coughed. He deliberately made some noise, hoping that Flender would take a look at him. But now Flanders is focused on Liu Erlong and has no time to pay attention to him, as Liu Erlong said. She no longer wanted to continue the long and unknown wait for the time when she had someone she loved. The hearts of Flender and Yu Xiaogang were broken into pieces at the same time. At the same time, Flanders also discovered something strange about Liu Erlong's body. He pointed at Liu Erlong's slightly protruding belly and said in a trembling voice, "Erlong sister, what are you?" A gentle smile appeared on Liu Erlong's pretty face. He lowered his head, gently touched his belly, and said softly, "Yes, I already have a child." Snapped. Flender's fragile heart, which was originally broken into several pieces, was once again stepped on the ground and ravaged. Yu Xiaogang and Yin Shu also heard it clearly. Although Yin Shu was surprised that Liu Erlong was pregnant, she didn't say anything. "I am just an employee under others. There is no need to talk to your employees about anything." As for Yu Xiaogang, he has already been petrified. The woman who once loved him so deeply now says she doesn't want to wait any longer, and have children. Puff! Yu Xiaogang spurted out a mouthful of old blood. His eyes widened. He raised his finger tremblingly and pointed at Liu Erlong. His lips trembled a little, and he gritted his teeth in disbelief and wanted to speak, but his humble self-esteem forced him not to bow his head in front of the former licking dog. Plop! Yu Xiaogang suddenly stepped back and fainted. Xiaogang! Yu Xiaogang made a lot of noise. Flanders came to his senses and turned around to look. Shocked, he anxiously came to Yu Xiaogangs side and shook his body. Yin Shu looked strange. He fainted when he heard that his dean was pregnant. Is it possible that this old man has fallen in love with the dean? What is this? Yin Shu suddenly felt as if he had done something wrong. Liu Erlong was slightly startled when he heard Flanders shouting. He looked at the old man in Flanders' arms in surprise. Her beautiful eyes couldn't help but widen. Is this old man Yu Xiaogang? Chapter 94 returns, knocking Yu Xiaogang away with one punch. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although she didn't want to believe it in her heart, her character didn't allow her to turn a blind eye. She moved lightly and slowly came to them, her eyebrows furrowed slightly. Boss Fu, do you think this is Xiaogang? Flanders smiled bitterly and nodded. How did he? Liu Erlong recalled the last time he saw Yu Xiaogang many years ago and hesitated to speak. Flanders naturally knew what Liu Erlong wanted to say. After thinking for a while, he told everything he knew. Liu Erlong lamented, Xiaogang also has a miserable life. Yin Shu, Boss Fu will be the vice president of my Lanba Academy from now on. After Liu Erlong glanced at the unconscious Yu Xiaogang, he said to Flender, Boss Fu, follow the audiobook and go back first. It's not convenient for me here. Yin Shu, arrange a place for Boss Fu and find a therapy teacher to treat him. Yes, Dean. Yin Shu tried his best to hold back his smile, bowed and then came to Flanders' side. Flanders was stunned, and a look of disbelief flashed in his eyes. First, he was shocked by Liu Erlong's generosity, and second, the other party had no intention of taking care of Yu Xiaogang personally. Liu Erlong naturally understood what she was doing. She is now a woman, so naturally she cannot get too close to other men. Even though the other party almost married me. Now, it is best to let the music book arrange it. She couldn't let the other party enter her room or Duguyen Xiaofeng's room. Bad influence. Xiao Feng would be angry if he knew a man entered his room. Feeling that the arrangements were almost complete, Liu Erlong turned around and returned to the house. Looking at Liu Erlong's leaving figure, Flanders looked complicated, looking at Yu Xiaogang in his arms. A surge of resentment arose spontaneously. What a coward. Thinking about this, Flanders didn't know whether he was talking about himself or Yu Xiaogang. Sighing, he raised his head and met the smiling Yin Shu. Teacher Yin Shu, we're in trouble. You're welcome, Vice President, please come with me. Yin Shu smiled and led the way. When the three Flanders appeared in front of everyone in Shrek Academy again, Yu Xiaogan's fainted appearance surprised them. Teacher, Tang San was the first to lose control of his emotions. This is the person closest to him now. He quickly came to Yu Xiaogang, looked at Flanders, and said anxiously, Dean, what's wrong with my teacher? But what happened? The others also looked surprised. They gathered around one by one. Upon seeing this, Zhao Wuji and other teachers looked at Flanders with puzzled expressions. Didn't you say you were going to meet your old acquaintance? Why did Yu Xiaogang become like this? Seeing the blood on the corner of Yu Xiaogangs mouth, Zhao Wuji sent a message to Flender and asked. Flanders shook his head slightly. Dean, could it be that the Dean of Lanba College took action against you? Tang San asked again when he saw that Flanders didn't reply. No, it's not what you think. No one took action against him. Flanders waved his hands repeatedly. Xiaogang just didn't walk steadily and accidentally fell into a pit. That's why it turned out like this. You know, Xiaogang is an ordinary person now, and any bump will cause him harm. After saying that, Flanders looked at the music book again and said quickly. Teacher Yin Shu, please make arrangements for us. Yin Shu glanced at Flanders with strange eyes and nodded. Night. Finally home. The bright moonlight shines down, reflecting on Feng Yao standing in the sky. As soon as he appeared, he noticed the very sudden footsteps in the silent forest. Frowning slightly, Feng Yao looked attentively. In the darkness, a slightly wretched figure was seen lying next to the wall, seemingly carrying a ladder on his shoulders. In an instant, Feng Yao was on top of the figure. Who are you? Sneaky. The cold voice reached the man's ears, and he immediately trembled. Looking up subconsciously, he saw a figure in silver-white armor standing on the treetops. The moon and stars were sparse, and Feng Yao could easily see the person's appearance. Seeing an old man he had never seen before, Feng Yao raised his eyebrows and asked again, answer my question. It seems that I have never seen you in Lanba Academy. The old man turned out to be Yu Xiaogang, who had fainted from anger at Liu Erlong's words during the day. Are you, Feng Yao? When Yu Xiaogang saw this familiar figure, his heart beat wildly, and a surge of anger arose spontaneously. Feng Yao raised his eyebrows. You actually know me? When Yu Xiaogang saw that Feng Yao didn't recognize him, he was still a little afraid of Feng Yao. After all, the other party has no respect for his superiors, and he will take action at the slightest displeasure. It's time to run away. Feng Yao's figure flashed and stopped in front of Yu Xiaogang. I see you have quite a lot of gear, and you even brought a ladder with you. You are quite well prepared. I didn't expect to meet a blind person today. Feng Yao sneered. I have no intention of asking clearly, let alone that the other person is an old man. A punch hit him directly. Stop. At this moment, a sharp shout came. Feng Yao frowned, but his offensive continued unabated. With one punch, Yu Xiaogang was knocked away and rolled into the forest without a trace. After dealing with Yu Xiaogang, Feng Yao looked at the place where the voice had just come from. I saw a middle-aged man with wings on his back, and he was already in front of me as he flapped his wings. With one hand in the shape of a claw, he grabbed Feng Yao. When Feng Yao saw the visitor, he was slightly surprised. The visitor was none other than Flanders, who had just arrived. Feng Yao would not coddle his opponent, so he punched him with his soul power surging. Bang! After the two exchanged moves, Flanders' body instantly flew backwards, following in Yu Xiaogangs' footsteps. Flanders' eyes widened, his soul power surged out crazily, and he forced himself to stabilize his body. At this time, he only felt numbness in the tiger's mouth, and his entire arm seemed to have no feeling, and he could not use any strength at all. He had long noticed that Yu Xiaogang was sneaking around to find Liu Erlong, but I had no intention of stopping it. But now that he saw Yu Xiaogang being blasted by someone, he naturally wouldn't hide anymore. Moreover, he has already shouted to stop, but the other party still strikes hard. He is obviously not a good person. Unexpectedly, after making the right move, I would be the one to suffer. Who is this guy? Why haven't I heard from any audiobooks that there is such a number one person in Lanba Academy? Liu Erlong is very sensitive. Even though he is pregnant now, the title Douluo's perception still has not contracted. The soul power fluctuation caused by the collision between Feng Yao and Flanders was felt by her almost instantly. The lights came on in the house, and Liu Erlong, dressed in snow-white pajamas and a snow-white cloak, slowly walked out of the house. After careful perception, I found a familiar soul power fluctuation, which belonged to Feng Yao. Liu Erlong looked happy. Xiao Feng is back. As for the other wave of soul power, she didn't know who it was. Chapter 95 Lovesickness is read. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Cough cough. Flanders covered his chest and coughed hard. The black-rimmed glasses on his face had already flown to nowhere. When Feng Yao saw that the person who attacked him was Flanders, he thought that Shrek had probably come to Lanba Academy. It seemed that even without Dugubo's interference, they still had the same result. Who are you? How dare you hurt people randomly? Do you know where this place is? Flanders took out a new pair of glasses from the soul guide and put them on, his eyes shaped like eagle pupils, staring at Feng Yao. I was angry at Tiando Royal Academy during the day, and now I was suppressed by a seemingly young junior. What a shame. What are you doing? Just as the two were confronting each other, a pleasant voice sounded in their ears. Feng Yao heard the sound and turned around to see Liu Erlong in a snow-white robe. Teacher, these two guys are sneaking around here. One of them is carrying a ladder. They are obviously planning something evil. They are not from our Lanba Academy. Do you want to kill them? Feng Yao pointed at Flender. Said lightly. Liu Erlong's smile froze. Meimu looked around and found a figure lying somewhere with a ladder beside him. He frowned, looked at Flanders, and said with some displeasure, Boss Flanders, can you give me an explanation? Erlong, look. I'm still injured. Flanders had no choice but to motion Liu Erlong to look at his arm, which he could no longer use. Also, if we don't find a healing soul master in time, Xiaogang may die young. Liu Erlong was shocked when he heard this. When he looked at the fallen figure again, he found that he was very similar to Yu Xiaogang during the day, but when he saw the ladder next to him, he knew that Feng Yao was right. Boss Fu, you have to explain everything tonight to me tomorrow. She said lightly, then looked at Feng Yao. Let's go back first, and I'll explain it to you. Feng Yao nodded and glanced coldly at Yu Xiaogang, who had just been knocked away by him. Why is Yu Xiaogang like this? Is it because his soul power has disappeared? It's really unpredictable. With the way he looks now, I just don't know if Bibi Dong will still love him. After thinking about it, Feng Yao was pulled by Liu Erlong and disappeared from Flanders' eyes, and her faint voice slowly reached Flanders' ears at the same time. Boss Fu, take Xiaogang back and take care of him first. The next morning, Feng Yao slowly opened his eyes, seeing that Liu Erlong was still sleeping soundly next to him. He didn't disturb him. He carefully covered him with a quilt, put on his clothes, and walked out. Xiao Feng, when did you come back? As soon as Feng Yao went out, he saw Dugu Yan in a purple dress walking towards him. I just came back last night. A smile appeared on Feng Yao's lips, and he gently supported Dugu Yan who was flying towards him. As soon as I came back, I ran to Sister Erlong and didn't know to come to me. Sister Erlong is pregnant, so you don't know how to show mercy. Dugu Yan said with resentment in her beautiful eyes. She had been listening in the corner for a long time, and she almost couldn't hold back her excitement. If she hadn't been worried that the three of them would affect Liu Erlong together, she would have gone long ago. It will basically be fine after 3 months, and I can control it very well, so it's okay. Feng Yao held Dugu Yan's waist and walked out of the small courtyard. Dugu Yan's eyes became even more resentful. Xiao Feng, do you have any fairy grass that can improve your physical fitness? Give me another one. Feng Yao raised his eyebrows and thought slightly. After shouting for a long time, she took out the lovesickness that he had never successfully picked out of her smart soul guide. Seeing Feng Yao take out a peony flower, he then looked at her blankly. Dugu Yan blushed slightly. Why do you look at me like that? Somehow, she felt a little shy under Feng Yao's fiery gaze. Feng Yao smiled slightly and placed the Heartbroken red in front of Dugu Yan. He whispered the method of picking acacia Heartbroken red. He didn't tell that story. In his opinion, knowing this story will only affect Dugu Yan's heart and not bring any benefit at all. There are so many wonders in this world. After Dugu Yan sighed, he decisively spit out a mouthful of blood containing love. He raised his head slightly and stared at Feng Yao with his beautiful eyes. Seeing this, Feng Yao couldn't help but lower his head. The two immediately began to bicker with each other. For a moment, the lovesickness in Douluo Yan's arms became a little bothersome. Without hesitation, Douluo Yan directly threw the lovesickness aside without any nostalgia, in her opinion. Responding to Feng Yao now is the right thing to do. Just as the two were enjoying a selfless kiss, the discarded lovesickness red suddenly emitted a red light, and the black stone at the root quietly fell off. For a long time, the lips are divided. Douluo Yan's autumn eyes were filled with mist, and he licked the corner of his mouth with his sweet tongue. Xiao Feng, I want the same treatment as Sister Erlong. Didn't you say that you have to wait until the end of the Continental Senior Soul Master competition? Feng Yao reminded. I almost forgot. Douluo Yan pouted her rosy mouth, showing her not-so-good mood. Suddenly, from the corner of her eye, she noticed that the flower she had thrown away just now was emitting brilliant light, and she exclaimed, Xiao Feng, this flower has bloomed. Feng Yao was slightly surprised when he heard this, but then there was joy, although he doesn't know if this lovesickness can really prove love. Just in time, you can take it. This lovesickness is the king of flowers. It can enhance your physique several times and increase your soul power levels several times. Really? Douluo Yan's beautiful eyes were full of excitement. Does it mean that after eating this, I won't need Sister Erlong's help and I can challenge you in a duel? Feng Yao looked stunned. Seeing this, Douluo Yan stuck out his tongue. This has almost become her obsession. Feng Yao shook his head helplessly. You should take the acacia Heartbroken red first and then talk. Yeah. Douluo Yan nodded. By the way, what should I do with this stone? That she picked up the Wuju stone and handed it to Feng Yao. Looking at this fist-sized black stone, Feng Yao pondered for a moment. After a moment, he smiled lightly and said, Give me the stone first, and I will take care of it. After you absorb the acacia Heartbroken red, I will give you a gift. Do you really want to absorb it? Douluo Yan hesitated. Didn't you say this represents love? Why do we need a flower to prove our relationship? Feng Yao dismissed it, picked up Douluo Yan and walked to her bedroom. Ah! Douluo Yan exclaimed, thinking that Feng Yao was going to have a morning exercise. As a result, Feng Yao put Douluo Yan on the bed and walked out directly. I'll protect you outside. Chapter 97. Zhu Zhuqing asked for help but failed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. By the way, why don't you see Flanders? That when Yu Xiaogang saw that Flanders, who usually came to see him, was missing today, he suddenly asked in confusion. Dean Flender said that he wanted to go to the dean of Lanba College to reminisce about the past, and he even brought Dai Mubai and the others with him. That when Yu Xiaogang heard this, his expression suddenly became darker. He knew that Flanders had never given up on Liu Erlong. Unexpectedly, Liu Erlong was already pregnant, and he was still licking his face and sticking to it, shamelessly, but he forgot. Who was carrying the ladder secretly in the middle of the night to sneak to Liu Erlong's residence? Thinking of this, he looked at Tang San with eyes full of emotion. It's better to be your own disciple. Take good care of yourself without giving up. Teacher, it's getting dark and I'll get you some food. Tang San was a little creeped out by Yu Xiaogang's gaze. After saying this, he hurriedly left Yu Xiaogang's room. Yu Xiaogang looked at Tang San's back and nodded happily. After just a few steps, Tang San exhaled heavily, and then took a deep breath of fresh air, then used control crane to capture dragon to suck out the cotton from deep inside your ears. Just 2 days after Yu Xiao moved into the house, it was already filled with a peculiar smell, which made Tang San miserable. Coupled with the harsh sound, he had to use cotton to reduce the noise. Once a teacher, always a father. Tang San, this is what you should do. The injury on the teacher's chest was obviously caused by someone's fist. We need to ask Flender for details. And the dean of Lanba Academy seems to be Feng Yao's teacher, so Feng Yao should be here. Thinking about it, Tang San left with a gloomy expression. Ere long, this continent-wide, Soul Master competition, with these students of mine, plus your disciples, and Douluo Yan, we have a good chance of winning the championship. As evening approached, the group ended the dinner. Flanders drank a lot on a whim, but forgot about Liu Erlong's pregnant woman. Vice President Flanders, go back and rest when you're drunk. Feng Yao said coldly, while looking at Ma Hongjun and others aside. he said, why don't you take us teachers back? That if Liu Erlong hadn't been kind-hearted, Feng Yao would have really wanted to kill this ignorant thing, after receiving a lesson before, and now knowing Feng Yao's strength, how could they dare to refuse? He quickly came to Flanders and pulled him away. Teacher, let's go. Feng Yao came to Liu Erlong's side, supported her and walked towards her residence. Looking at the three people leaving, everyone had complicated expressions on their faces. Hongjun, I'm fine. Flanders gently pulled off Ma Hongjuan's hand, looking disappointed. After sighing deeply, he walked back alone. The back looks a little lonely. Ma Hongjun scratched his head, looking confused. Zhu Zhuqing looked at the backs of Du Guyan and Feng Yao, lowered his head and pondered slightly. After a while, he seemed to have made up his mind, with a firm look on his face, at the same time. Sister Erlong, this Flanders really doesn't know how to behave. It would be better for you to have less contact with him in the future. Du Guyan said with some displeasure. A wry smile appeared on Liu Erlong's lips. Xiao Feng, you know. Teacher, don't worry, let's go back first. Feng Yao laughed it off. He didn't take Flanders seriously. By the way, do you think what he proposed before is feasible? Liu Erlong suddenly heard about the competition and asked. As long as Yan Yan and I are in our academy, winning the championship will be a simple matter. The rest of us will basically just make up the numbers. Feng Yao said indifferently, there are only 3 Soul Kings in Wuhuan Palace. Even if Du Guyan is alone, he can easily crush him. Her current poison is not easily accessible. The 3 of them hadn't walked very far when they noticed a tail behind them. I'll go take a look. Du Guyan said with a sweet smile. Yeah. Feng Yao nodded. After a while, looking across at Zhu Zhuqing, who was wearing a black leather jacket and had a plump figure, Du Guyan raised her eyebrows and asked, Zhu Zhuqing, what can I do for you? Zhu Zhuqing's cheeks were slightly red, her delicate hands were slightly clenched, and she said with a firm expression, Miss Dugu, I came here to want to ask you some questions about cultivation. At this moment, Zhu Zhuqing was filled with anxiety. Asking others how to practice is a taboo. In the Soul Master world, even if someone kills her, they won't say anything. What's more, the person being asked has a title Douluo behind him. Ask me how to practice. Du Guyan was stunned when he heard this, and looked up and down Zhu Zhuqing's delicate body, secretly admiring this beauty in the world. But considering that the other party has just turned 12 years old, he is already level 28, I don't know how much better than my previous self, but I have no cultivation experience. These cultivation levels are basically fed by Feng Yao. Eat all kinds of jelly grass, soul bone and whale glue. For a moment, Du Guyan didn't know how to answer Zhu Zhuqing's question. She still has some different emotions towards this cold-tempered girl. Thinking of the golden hair's attitude toward Zhu Zhuqing at the dinner table, Zhu Zhuqing lightly opened her lips and asked, Zhu Zhuqing, let me ask you something. What is your relationship with that Dai Mubai? Zhu Zhuqing was slightly stunned when he heard this, and after reacting, he pursed his thin lips slightly. After a long time, he said, He and I are both from the Star Luo Empire. He is the Prince of Star Luo, and I am from the Zhu family. Hearing this, Du Guyan immediately cleared his thoughts. She is no ordinary novice. Naturally, he knew about the royal competition in the Star Luo Empire. The plan in her heart to find a third sister for herself failed. Du Guyan was not a woman with her elbows turned outward, so she said, that's it. As for cultivation, I actually don't have any good ideas. Just practice hard. While others are playing and sleeping, you are cultivating. Cherish every minute and every second, so that you will gain something. And I am older than you. It's a lot, so it will naturally improve. She would not tell her story, so she placed a bowl of chicken soup in front of Zhu Zhuqing, expecting her to drink it. Effort, don't you work hard enough? Zhu Zhuqing felt a little disappointed and looked a little lonely. Thank you, senior sister, for your guidance. Zhuqing understands. After saying that, Zhu Zhuqing slowly disappeared from Du Guyan's sight. TSK, this figure is so good. Du Guyan licked the corner of his mouth. Xiao Feng is pretty awesome. I didn't even stare at him before. I'm a little excited. What a pity, he actually has an engagement with that Huang Mao. Xing Luo ran to Tiendo. It seems he is the weaker party. That golden retriever is almost an adult, and this Zhu Zhuqing looks like he is about to die. Although she sighed in her heart, she had no intention of meddling in other people's business. The other person was not related to her, so she didn't have such a kind heart. Chapter 98 Yu Xiaogang's Ambition. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Who was it just now? In Liu Erlong's bedroom, Feng Yao helped Liu Erlong sit down. When he saw Douluo returning, he asked curiously. Douluo smiled and said, "That girl named Zhu Zhuqing came to me to ask how to improve her cultivation." As he said that, Douluo felt a little embarrassed. When Feng Yao saw this, he was surprised and said, "You said that?" Douluo smiled and shook his head. "Of course not, I'm not stupid." Feng Yao nodded, "It has nothing to do with us, don't pay attention to it." "Xiao Feng, do you want to stay at Erlong Jie's place tonight?" Douluo said quietly when she saw that Feng Yao had no intention of leaving. Feng Yao raised his eyebrows. "You still need to go to Sunset Forest with me tomorrow. You need to be in a good mental state." Bang! Douluo squinted at Feng Yao, looking like I was unhappy. "Xiao Feng, do you really want to take Yan by yourself? It just so happens that Flanders has brought a few senior soul masters, why not let them come with you?" Liu Erlong said with a worried look on his face. "Don't worry, Sister Erlong." Douluo sat quietly on Liu Erlong, hugged her arm, and said with a smile, "Xiao Feng and I will go home and invite Grandpa to come with us. With his protection, Xiao Feng and I it'll be fine for sure." Liu Erlong touched Douluo's hair, with a charming smile on his face, and nodded, "This is the best." Feng Yao was a little ashamed when he saw this. Not long ago, I had worked hard in the Star Doe Forest for more than a month, and we were going to the Sunset Forest again. Feng Yao was still lamenting Douluo's hard life. I saw Douluo whispering a few words into Liu Erlong's ear, and then, under Liu Erlong's funny eyes, he pulled the somewhat confused Feng Yao and walked out. The next morning, the two of them, who had nothing to pack, left Lanba Academy after bidding farewell to Liu Erlong. At the same time, Yu Xiaogang's residence, looking at Flanders who had just arrived, Yu Xiaogang looked a little unhappy and said, "Flanders, what are you doing? I asked the mistress to call you a long time ago, why are you here so slowly? Do you understand everything I asked you to understand?" Flanders didn't care about Yu Xiaogang's attitude, he is also used to it. After finding a random seat and sitting down, he smiled and said, "You said you would give Mubai and the other 6 people and 1 teammate to form a team of 7 to participate in the soul fighting competition. I thought about it again and decided to invite 2 heavyweights to join them. Let's form a team together." "Oh," Yu Xiaogang's eyes lit up, "what weight class? Are they very talented and have a high level of soul power?" "That's not only good, it's ridiculously good." Flanders waved his hand and smiled. "You also know Douluo from that day, and, that kid named Feng Yao." Yu Xiaogang was shocked. He raised his trembling finger and pointed at Flanders, with a look of disbelief on his face. It seemed that something was wrong. After all, Feng Yao had beaten Yu Xiaogang, but I thought that the other party could completely defeat me. The agility attack Soul Saint, in terms of strength, although the opponent's specific soul power level was not known from Liu Erlong, it must not be lower than Douluo's, so he said, "Xiaogang, as a teacher, you have to be more generous. Didn't you just get punched? Didn't I exchange a move with him? Don't take it to heart, no matter how big it is. I'm telling you, with the 2 of them here, we will definitely win the Continental Senior Soul Master competition in more than a year's time. When the time comes, as their teacher and team leader, you will be famous all over the world." Flanders' words almost touched Yu Xiaogang's heart. But when he thought of Feng Yao's disrespectful behavior towards him 6 years ago, he gritted his teeth with hatred. But thinking about the fame that he dreamed of, and the scene of being admired by everyone that he fantasized about day and night, he couldn't help but sigh inwardly. What friends said makes sense. In order to let everyone on the continent know his greatness, there is nothing wrong with making some sacrifices temporarily. Okay, but they must obey my orders completely, otherwise I will not include them in the team roster. There are so many students in Lanba Academy. As long as they have my guidance, I can easily make them stronger. It is not impossible to win the championship. Flanders was speechless, but he still didn't want to hurt the other party's self-confidence. Where are the two of them? Let them come to see me so I can plan training for them. Yu Xiaogang closed his eyes slightly and said calmly. I'm afraid not now. Flanders shook his head. Yu Xiaogang opened his eyes fiercely and said displeased, What's wrong? Flanders spread his hands and said helplessly, I went to see Erlong this morning. I heard Erlong said that Feng Yao took Du Guyan to the Sunset Forest to help her hunt for the sixth soul ring. What? The sixth soul ring? Yu Xiaojiang's eyes widened. This is impossible. How old is she? She is only in her early 20s, right? How can she already want the Soul Emperor? It's hard for me to believe it, but it's the truth. Flanders smiled bitterly. He thought that his favorite disciple, Qin Ming, was already very good, did not expect. The 20-year-old Soul Emperor has already broken the record in the Soul Master world. I don't know, it's unprecedented, but it's unprecedented. This kid Du Guyan, as long as nothing happens, he will definitely become a title Douluo in the future. Humph. After Yu Xiaogang was shocked, he became disdainful. His own disciple Tang San is the best among the best, and there is only one twin martial soul among the 10,000. The clear sky hammer is not 100 times stronger than the jade phosphorus snake. Originally, I wanted to teach his disciples for Erlong's sake. It's a pity that they don't have this blessing. Yu Xiaogang glanced at Flanders and said calmly, In this way, you select the few people in the academy who are of the right age and have the highest soul power and merge them into Xiao San and the others. Dai Mubai will be the captain, and Xiao San will be the vice-captain and commander. I can take them to the great soul fighting arena to train their tacit cooperation. It's better to discuss this matter with Erlong, right? Flanders frowned. After all, the academy belongs to Erlong. We can't make the decision without authorization. You are already the deputy dean, Yu Xiaogang said angrily. Since Erlong gave you this position, he obviously asked you to handle the affairs of the academy. It is not convenient for her to handle it now. I have inquired about it. Since the establishment of the academy, except for the beginning, it has been basically managed by the Yin Shu and other teachers. How did you know? Flanders asked in surprise. Have you forgotten that you are still injured? If it weren't for the help of several healing soul masters from Lanba Academy, you would have been dead, okay? What a toss-up. Flanders stood up and was about to leave. At this time, I heard Yu Xiaogang say calmly, you should avoid going to Liu Erlong's place in the future. Flanders, who had his back to Yu Xiaogang, raised a disdainful smile on his lips. He can tolerate Yu Xiaogang in other things, but when it comes to feelings, he is somewhat angry with Yu Xiaogang, although he had his own reasons for not being able to be with Liu Erlong. Yu Xiaojiang's cowardice took up most of the blame. Understood. After Flanders left, the room fell into silence. Yu Xiaojiang's expression was indifferent, with a hint of anger deep in his eyes. He could tell the anger in Flanders' heart as soon as he heard it. Damn Liu Erlong. Damn Yulua Mian. Damn Flanders. Damn Wuhuan Palace. When my mistress successfully cultivates twin martial souls in the future, I will make you all pay the price. And you, Bibi Dong. I have to think about when to go to Wuhuan City and ask Bibi Dong for the training method of twin martial souls. 99. 3. 2112. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the blink of an eye, Feng Yao and Du Guyan have returned from the Star Forest. The two of them rode a luxurious carriage from far to near, and soon arrived outside Lanba Academy. Du Guyan held the arm of the man next to her and walked out of the car with a sweet smile on her face. Du Gubo, who was traveling with him, was speechless and gritted his teeth secretly. Yen, wait a minute, our grandfather hasn't gotten off the car yet. Feng Yao touched Du Guyan's head and said with a smile. Grandpa is a title Douluo, so there is no need for us to take care of him. Du Guyan pulled Feng Yao and walked towards the academy. Du Gubo, who had just gotten off the carriage, staggered violently when he heard this. The driver almost dropped the whip in his hand. Female students are not allowed to stay in college. The granddaughter he raised with so much hard work is gone. The three of them had a smooth journey. Just when Du Guyan took Feng Yao back to Liu Erlong, Du Gubo raised his eyebrows, pointed in one direction and smiled. I didn't expect that your college would let an ordinary person be a teacher. It is really rare in ancient and modern times, and an anecdote through the ages. Ah! Ordinary people become teachers. Du Guyan opened her mouth slightly in surprise and looked in the direction Du Gubo pointed. Feng Yao also raised his eyebrows. Xiao Feng, let's go take a look, okay? Du Guyan said in a coquettish manner. Feng Yao held his forehead. It's all up to you, let's go. Du Guyan smiled sweetly. Du Gubo followed behind him silently without saying a word. Not long after, three people came closer. I saw that the place was surrounded by a crowd, and there were 10 soul masters engaged in a 2-on-2 battle in the middle of the venue. There were 2 middle-aged people next to him, a young man and an old man. It turns out it's them. Du Guyan said, slightly bored. After that, Du Guyan was about to leave. She had no interest in this group of people who had defected to her not long ago, especially the 4 boys among them. Although each has its own characteristics, they all have bad aspects. Feng Yao, just when they were about to leave, the sharp-eyed Flanders accidentally noticed Feng Yao's figure and immediately shouted out. Feng Yao stopped and looked over. Flanders pushed through the crowd and walked over quickly. Feng Yao, Du Guyan, you came just in time. I have something to discuss with you. Who is this? But when Flanders originally wanted to take the 2 of them to a place to chat, he suddenly noticed Du Gubo with a sinister look on his side. Vice President Flanders, this is my grandfather. Du Guyan said with a smile. Flanders looked shocked. After thinking of Du Guyan's identity, he understood the identity of the old man in front of him. He quickly bowed and saluted. Flanders, I have seen the green phosphorus crown. Many students around who were watching the battle in the field noticed this scene and showed surprised expressions. When they heard the 4 words under the crown of biphosphorus, their faces instantly turned pale, and they all saluted Du Gubo. The word Mianxia is only used to address title Douluo. Even ordinary people know it, not to mention them. However, Du Gubo didn't feel good about it. That's just his character. I never give a good look to strangers, he replied calmly. No need to be polite, get up. Flanders. I have heard of your name. What an honor. Flanders said with a flattering smile. Okay, I'm just here to accompany my granddaughter. Du Gubo turned around, flicked his sleeves and robe, and said calmly, listen to Yan Yan, you are the vice president. If you have anything to do, tell me. Yes. Flender leaned slightly closer to the 2 of them and whispered Yu Xiaogang's proposal. Yu Xiaogang? How can he teach my granddaughter in Xiaofeng? After hearing this, Du Gubo sneered disdainfully. Flanders smiled awkwardly. The person coming was a titled Douluo, and he didn't dare to show off. To be honest, Yu Xiaogang was the corner of wisdom in the golden iron triangle formed by me, and Erlong more than 10 years ago. At that time, he was also a master of soul master theory with a great reputation on the mainland. At the same time, he is also the son of the leader of the Blue Tyrannosaurus Rex. Shut up. Listening to these titles, Du Gubo frowned slightly. I don't care what his status is, I just want to know one thing. He is an ordinary person, what ability does he have to teach my granddaughter? Du Gubo's surging momentum suddenly pressed on Flanders, almost causing him to kneel on his knees. I don't care about the golden triangle. Even if it's Yu Engine himself, I'm not afraid. For Liu Erlong's sake, I won't argue with you, so get out. Flanders smiled wryly. Title Douluo are indeed so difficult to deal with, especially the one in front of me. This person's reputation in the Soul Master world is not very good. Watching the 3 people leaving, Flanders calmed down and returned to the spirit fighting arena. The students around him had already disappeared when Du Gubo got angry. Yu Xiaogang had already noticed Flanders' movements. However, seeing that Du Gubo had a bad temper, he didn't want to step forward to ask for trouble. Seeing Flanders coming back, he stepped forward and asked with a frown, why did they leave? Is it because of Du Gubo? Xiaogang, be careful. Flanders was frightened by Yu Xiaogang's boldness and his heart tightened. He quickly turned around and saw that Du Gubo was not there, and he breathed a sigh of relief. Xiaogang, how can you call the title Douluo by his first name? If there is an accident, our 10 lives are not enough for others to kill him. That Yu Xiaogan's face was full of indifference and he said casually, his granddaughters are both the girlfriends of Liu Erlong's disciples. What are you afraid of in this relationship? Then this has nothing to do with you. Why are you so stubborn? Flanders was a little speechless and changed the subject. How is the training going? What else can you do? They are all soul masters who can only break through at the age of 20, and their talents are far inferior to those of the mistresses. That Yu Xiaogang looked very disdainful and said. These few people can barely act as teammates for Xiao San. It's a pity that Feng Yao and Dugu Yen were taken away. This Dugu Bo is really ignorant and missed an opportunity. Okay, just stop saying a few words. Flanders felt ashamed, he was really afraid that the other party would suddenly appear and kill Yu Xiaogang with one move. Yen, you are now also a soul emperor, congratulations. Like a big sister, Liu Erlong took Dugu Yan's hand and said happily. Compared with Xiao Feng, I'm still far behind. Dugu Yen said with a slightly shy expression. Don't compare with him, he is not human. Hey, don't ignore me, okay? I'm still here. Beside the lake, Feng Yaoyin and Dugu Bo were sitting on deck chairs fishing, saying with helpless expressions. Chapter 100 Liu Erlong gives birth to 2 daughters, the Soul Master competition is about to begin. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There's an incredible guy here. Dugu Bo stood up and looked into the forest with a solemn expression. Who is it? Feng Yao raised his eyebrows and asked. This kind of sword intention should be, as expected, the sword-fighting Luo Qinshin of the 7 Treasures Glazed Sect. Feng Yao's heart moved. If that's the case, then Ning Fengji should be here, right? Definitely. Ning Fengji is looking for death when he goes out without the protection of a titled Douluo. A trace of disdain appeared on the corner of Dugu Bo's mouth. Sure enough, in just a moment, a group of 5 people appeared in their sight. Feng Yao looked around and saw that they were all acquaintances. He turned his head and looked at each other, both of them understanding. Dugu Bo whispered, be careful what you say, you never know when you will fall into the trap of this old fox Ning Fengji. Feng Yao nodded with understanding and a smile on his lips. Ning Fengji and others looked surprised when they saw Feng Yao and Dugu Bo appearing in their sights. He secretly sent a message to Chen Xian who was beside him, saying, Uncle Jian, Dugu Bo is actually here. It seems that I have underestimated this Feng Yao. Fengji, be careful when facing Dugu Bo. This old guy is not easy to mess with. I'm not afraid of one-on-one, but his poison is very troublesome. With such a huge sect behind them, they naturally have many concerns. Unless Chen Xian is sure to kill Dugu Bo, the consequence will be that the sect will only have 2 titled Douluo left, and no one else. Long time no see, Brother Shui. Feng Yao greeted him with a smile on his face. It's been a long time indeed. Qian Renshua smiled and nodded. You don't know how often you come to see me as your big brother. I miss you so much. Feng Yao was speechless. He thinks Qian Renshua is addicted to pretending to be a man. I'm busy practicing on weekdays, so please forgive me, brother. Nothing. Qian Renshua waved her hand, looked at Ning Fengji and said, Brother Yao, you have met these 2. Young man has met Sect Master Ning, Senior Sword Douluo. Humph. Dugu Bo snorted coldly and looked at Chen Xian sideways. Feng Yao, we are here to see Liu Erlong. Go and ask her to come out. Yu Xiaogang was filled with dissatisfaction when he saw several people chatting incessantly and ignoring him. Feng Yao frowned, glanced at Yu Xiaogang indifferently, and said coldly, Teacher is unwell and it is difficult to see guests. Even though there were Ning Fengji and Sword Douluo opposite him, his tone was very decisive. Do you have any say here? Get out. Dugu Bo's eyes turned cold, his soul pressure suddenly released, and a trace of toxin mixed with it poured into Yu Xiaogangs body, but in an instant, Yu Xiaogangs face turned dark, as if he was going to die in the next second. Your Majesty, Xiaogang didn't mean it. Your Majesty, please forgive Xiaogang this time. Flanders sighed in his heart, angry that Yu Xiaogang didn't know what to do. What kind of occasion is this? Are you talking casually to the two-titled Douluo present? It will recover naturally after a while. Dugu Bo said coldly. After Flanders helped Yu Xiaogang leave, Ning Fengji exclaimed, the poison under the green phosphorus crown is really getting more and more powerful. It can poison people quietly. I guess no one on the mainland can compare with it. Dugu Bo didn't answer, but he raised his head proudly. That's what's wrong with him, love face. In fact, Ning Fengji didn't really want Yu Xiaogang here, and Ning Fengji was extremely bored with his voice. This kind of voice was even more exaggerated than those around Shuiyi. Xiao Feng, are you okay if I call you this? Ning Fengji said with a gentle smile. Of course, Feng Yao agreed on his face, but was extremely speechless in his heart. You just said that your teacher Liu Erlong is unwell. Can you tell me what the situation is? I can take a look at it. Ning Fengji used his daily methods of winning over. Feng Yao shook his head. It's a small problem, so don't bother Sect Master Ning. Okay, I originally came to Lanba Academy and wanted to visit Dean Liu, but now it seems I have to give up. Ning Fengji shook his head and sighed. Don't call me Sect Master Ning. My Rongrong also goes to school here, and you are also classmates. Just call me Uncle Ning. Okay, Sect Leader Ning. Ning Fengji's face froze, but returned to normal in an instant. Qian Renxue on the side heard this and suppressed a smile in her heart. You old fox, I finally saw you deflated for once. Autumn passes and winter comes, and spring comes again in a blink of an eye. A female voice full of pain echoed through the small courtyard. Feng Yao and Dugu Yan stood outside the house looking anxious. Dugu Bo was idly fishing by the lake and said, Don't worry, kid, you can't help with the birth of the child. Wandering around everywhere, I'm getting a little upset. Feng Yao ignored Dugu Bo and pulled Dugu Yan towards the house. Dugu Bo curled his lips, then naturally took out a piece of dragon spirit leaf from the soul guide and put it into his mouth, with a satisfied smile on his face. That's great. This is how people live their lives. Feeling the increasingly majestic soul power in his body, which seemed to be rushing towards the 94th level, Dugu Bo smiled with satisfaction. There were currently 3 female healing spirit masters in the room delivering Liu Erlong's baby. Looking at Liu Erlong, whose face was pale and his forehead was covered with sweat, Feng Yao felt heartbroken. Holding her weak and somewhat white jade hand, he said softly, Teacher, relax, I'm always here. Liu Erlong looked at Feng Yao with his beautiful eyes and nodded. Following the command of the healing soul master, Liu Erlong began to exert his strength. Time passes slowly. As 2 babies cried, Liu Erlong lay in Feng Yao's arms with relief. Wow, Sister Erlong gave birth to a pair of twin sisters. Dugu Yan's eyes lit up with little stars, and he came close to the baby who had just been wrapped in silk brocade, observing curiously. Yen, bring the child to me for a look. Liu Erlong murmured weakly, even with the physique of a titled Douluo, it is still difficult to give birth to a child. It is good. Looking at these 2 children, Liu Erlong's face was full of tenderness, and the brilliance of motherhood was vividly highlighted. Feng Yao was also extremely excited. This is his and Liu Erlong's child. Stretch out your hands and gently touch the tender little faces of the 2 babies. As if aware of the touch from his father, the baby naturally raised his hand and held his fingers, stopped crying, and smiled. Xiao Feng, have you thought about what names to give the children? Liu Erlong raised his eyes and asked curiously. Feng Yao's smile suddenly froze, and he felt panicked. It's impossible to say that I haven't thought about it, but his name is really useless. Teacher, tell me your story first. Liu Erlong rolled his eyes at Feng Yao. I know you haven't thought about it. It's impossible to count on you. I have several names here. You pick 2 from them.